And breaking right now at 4 o'clock, a confirmed tornado touched down in Sampson County. And within the last 30 minutes, we got video of that tornado. This is in southern Sampson County. You can clearly see the funnel cloud there, someone recording at a safe distance. The threat of potential isolated tornadoes is not over. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lena Tillett.
And I'm Dan Haggerty. Of course, this comes as Tropical Storm Debby continues to barrel down on us with heavy wind and heavy rain in our state.
Let's take a live look at Myrtle Beach, Oak Island, downtown Raleigh, and Fayetteville, where you can clearly see the dark clouds in all of those pictures.
And we have you covered here. We've got our crews along the coast in North Carolina and South Carolina tracking Debby as it moves north.
Let's get to meteorologist Kat Campbell in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with the very latest on Debby.
And we need to first talk about the confirmed tornado there associated with Debby. It's common in North Carolina to get these spin-up tornadoes in tropical systems. Here is the debris ball that was evident on the radar, and the National Weather Service was able to confirm this by the debris ball and the damage. The Harrells community was hit hard just after 2:15. This storm did have a tornado warning on it, and we have 2 reports of homes damage and a structure collapse. Luckily, no injuries have been reported. That's one of the big updates we have for you today on Tropical Storm Debby. The tornado risk is increasing here in our area, and it's increasing for Raleigh as well. The other big update, we lowered rainfall totals by about an inch. Still, there's going to be a significant risk for flash flooding, and we expect to see more improvements during the day Friday with the system moving a little faster. No active warnings in our area at the moment. We do have this rain band that's going to be moving into the triangle and Wake County just in time for the evening commute, so be prepared for a steady rain, but it's not going to be as heavy as the rain will be tonight and during the day tomorrow. A pretty heavy rain band at the coast right now. They're being hit hard with heavy rain and the potential for some water spouts there. Debby has strengthened just offshore. The center of the storm is off the South Carolina coast. Top winds 60 miles per hour, still just crawling at 3 miles per hour. The latest forecast track shows that the center of the storm will likely, very likely, pass to the west of Raleigh, and that is why Raleigh is now included in the tornado threat. So the severe weather risk today includes areas east of I-95, a level 1 threat, and a level 2 threat tomorrow from Raleigh points east. So tomorrow we have a greater threat for these quick spin-up tornadoes. They can pop up very quickly, so make sure you leave it on Fox 50 and WRAL Plus for updates throughout the day. Rainfall totals, here's those new totals that we updated for you. 2 to 4 inches in the northern part of our area, 4 to 6 inches here in the triangle. Previously, we had 5 to 7. 5 to 7 still stands for Goldsboro, Southern Pines, Fayetteville, as well as Clinton. So let's talk about the timing of this. We should have a pretty widespread heavy band of rain that moves through during the overnight hours. This is 2 a.m. That'll still be with many of us for the morning commute tomorrow. So there's likely to be some issues on the roads already. The potential for flooded roads during the morning commute. Our newscast will start early on WRAL at 4 a.m. to keep you up to date on road conditions. We got the rain around through the afternoon and evening, and then as we head into tomorrow night, it'll be breezy. We begin to see some improvements out there. Brian Schrader is in the WRAL Live Center with a closer look at some of the new videos and photos we're getting in of that tornado.
Kat, you showed us that debris ball on radar that helped us confirm that was a tornado in the southern part of Sampson County. I want to show that video that we showed you at the top of the newscast from a viewer of that system there on the southern side of Sampson County, not too far from Harrells, and you can see there in the distance that ominous, now confirmed tornado. I just got off the phone with the Sampson County Sheriff's Office. They don't have much information right now, but Sampson County Emergency Management is dealing with all this, and we are hearing at this point at least, no reports of any injuries. As Kat mentioned, there are reports that 2 homes have been damaged and there was a structural collapse of some sort. I want to show you exactly where this happened in Sampson County. Those first reports of ground sightings came in right around 2:15, 2:20, a tornado crossing Wildcat Road. That was a report from law enforcement, and then that report of a possible structure collapse not too far from there on Bland School Road. WRAL's Heidi Kirk should be arriving at the scene any minute now. We hope to have live pictures very shortly.
All right, Brian, thank you. Now let's get you out to the coast. This is a live look at Myrtle Beach. So it's just off the coast where the center of the storm is sitting there off of South Carolina. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan has been there tracking the conditions. Chelsea, give us an idea of what things are like there for you.
Yeah, it's interesting what a bit of 10 minutes makes, because 10 minutes ago we were getting wind and rain. We've gotten a little bit of a reprieve. We're right here at the 2nd Avenue Pier. You can see some folks milling about, the vacationers trying to just get out. I would imagine they're going stir crazy. As you can see, though, we're on the southern end of the Grand Strand. The beaches are still wide. That's because right now low tide is about 4:14. So you can see just a lot of folks trying to make the most of what Tropical Storm Debby is bringing in. Right now, we're on a double red flag warning. That means no one can go in the water. As you can see, the water churning up here against the 2nd Avenue Pier. We've spent all day kind of milling about Myrtle Beach. Were no big issues, just talking to vacationers on how they're dealing with this unusual part of their vacation.
Strong winds and heavy rain making its mark today on Myrtle Beach.
Just take it as it comes and consider yourself blessed, because not many people ever get to experience this.
Yeah. Shelley and David Green drove here Sunday from Brevard, North Carolina. Well, to see the beach from a distance, and they're making the most of it.
Well, we can't go to the pool or anything like that, so, I mean, we just come out on the beach just to look. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful in its own way.
Ocean Boulevard gusty and a bit of a ghost town as we drove toward the boardwalk. Debby impacting vacationers and businesses alike.
August is kind of the end of our peak tourist season. So unfortunately, this will greatly hurt our business community, and I hate that for them. I hate it for the people who spent money to come here.
Even with a double red flag warning, no swimming in the ocean, the Greens are finding other ways to kill the time.
I'm pretty good at sleeping, so yeah. Yeah, that's my pastime. She won't let me sleep, though, so
No.
yeah. And eating, I'm good at that, too, so.
Those things are...
I love that guy. Sleeping and eating, his favorite pastime. I think I can attest to that too. But look here, a lot of people walking around looking for shells. This is a great time to do it because it is low tide. But remember, no going in the water. As the mayor put it earlier today, the beaches are closed for swimming. Now, the city of Myrtle Beach spent a lot of time preparing for Tropical Storm Debby. They've cleaned out all the storm drains, lowered the retention ponds, things of that nature just to get ready, cleared all the lifeguard stands and the trash receptacles here off the beach. They're not expecting any flooding in this area, of course, inland. They're a little bit more concerned about that. They liken this to what they would call, Hurricane Florence or Dorian, where they had the flood a little bit later. The North Carolina rivers, of course, getting inundated, then that brings that flow southerly. So that is sort of their concern at this point. But right now, getting a little bit of a break from the wind and the rain. Of course, that could change on a dime, and we'll keep you posted. Live in Myrtle Beach, Chelsea Donovan, WRAL News.
Thank you, Chelsea. The storm also picking up on the North Carolina coast. This is a live look at Ocean Isle Beach. Take a look at the strange conditions there in the air. Let's send it out to WRAL's Eric Miller. Eric, tell us about the wind. How is that picking up there?
Linda, you can probably see and maybe even hear those raindrops hitting the microphone, hitting my face here. It's definitely picking up here. Within just the last hour, we've had a marine alert issued off of the coast here for potential water spouts. That coming as we've seen some of the heaviest rain all day here in Ocean Isle. You can see the consequences of that all around me here. Just look at this ponding basically reaching from one side to the other of Charlotte Street. These conditions very familiar both across Ocean Isle and in Brunswick County. You take a look at some of this video here. This will give you a sense of some of the conditions we've been seeing all day, just how heavy that wind and rain has been this afternoon, getting into this evening. We've heard from both officials in Brunswick County and Ocean Isle that they're not seeing major impacts from this storm yet, no major flooding at this point, but they are encouraging folks to please take it slow, to avoid this ponding when you can. And if you do end up hitting it, don't hit it too fast. You can, of course, lose control very easily in situations like this. Here in Ocean Isle, the voluntary evacuation order took effect right around 8 this morning. We heard from folks yesterday who were packing up, leaving ahead of that. A lot of folks today have elected to stay, trying to ride out this storm. We've seen plenty of them around here, and plenty of folks, well, they're trying to make the most of their time here at the beach, whether there's water on the road, water falling from the sky, whatever this storm happens to do. Of course, stay on top of conditions here on Ocean Isle. Let you know as things change. In Ocean Isle, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
Let's bring it to the Triangle now. Businesses in Raleigh are preparing for the possibility of a lot of flooding ahead of Debby. Hannah Imports moved 100 cars out of their parking lots along Wake Forest Road. We know this area is prone to flooding. General Sales Manager Isaac Ward says they've learned from past flooding events Crabtree Creek can rise quickly. Meanwhile, Crabtree Valley Mall blocked off parts of its parking lot to prevent people from parking in locations known to flood. Utility crews are getting ready for Debby's impact as well. Duke Energy is staging crews right here in the Triangle. WRAL's Carly Haynes joining us live with how they're preparing. Carly.
Lena, this is at Walnut Creek Amphitheater. This is where utility crews will be parking their trucks when they come into the area to help restore power from the impacts of Debby. And I want to show you this lot. It is full right now. We were just talking to Duke Energy spokesperson who said that this is mainly contractors, but a total of 1,260 crews are here right now with 650 trucks. And a lot of these people are coming from other states. We heard some of the trucks that are here came in from Florida, and they're here now. And this is just one of multiple staging areas around the state that we're seeing here as they're preparing for these impacts. And this is how we got here, the WRAL Storm Tracker. This thing has traveled 769 miles across 3 different states over the past few days. It's here in Wake County now. We're going to be in this, tracking the conditions over the course of the evening. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Thank you to Carly. Also, be sure to have your phones charged out there. In the event you lose power, the WRAL News app will help you to stay on top of the storm developments. We are also, keep in mind, on the radio on 99.3 and 101.5 all around the Triangle and 96.5 everywhere else.
Our coverage of Tropical Storm Debby does not stop here. We are tracking impacts with teams in the Triangle and up and down the coast starting at 4 a.m. on WRAL and Fox 50 tomorrow. You will see new reports on Debby from our team here in the studio and live on the ground across multiple counties until the threat is over. So stay with us.
Thank you, Brian. Robinson County, they're bracing for some major flooding from Debby. WRAL has some drone video here over a temporary levee that's in place in Lumberton. This is where the Lumber River flows directly through the town, and folks who live there already know where I'm going with this. It was Hurricanes Matthew and Florence. They caused a lot of problems there. The storms causing the Lumber River to overflow, and the temporary levees in those instances did not hold. We got a live look for you here as we watch the storm, the center of the storm, approach in Wrightsville. We have meteorologist Kat Campbell, who's been tracking this, as at this point some people are seeing little bouts of rain come and go, but the real stuff is still on the way.
It arrives late tonight, and the worst of it's going to be throughout the day tomorrow. However, just a heads up, we do have a rain band from Debby that's moving into the Triangle just in time for the evening commute. So the rain is going to be filling in, and it should be a fairly steady rain for us. It's the same rain that's been moving through Harnett County, Johnston County, Wilson for quite some time. This is really not all that heavy. It's just a steady rain, but it's moving so slowly. Once it gets to Wake County, it's going to be with us for the evening commute and dinner time. At the top of the newscast, I showed you the level 1 threat for severe storms east of I-95. An update for you that was upgraded to a level 2 threat for the coast and the southern part of Sampson County, where we already had a tornado touchdown in the Harrells community earlier today. Also, just in, a tornado watch was issued for the Wilmington community. Some counties along the coast, including New Bern, also included in this as well. And they're starting to see more intense rain bands move ashore there. Our updated rainfall numbers, we lowered rainfall totals by about an inch for the Triangle point south, 5 to 7 inches in our southern counties, 4 to 6 inches in the Triangle and Rocky Mount, a little less toward the Virginia line, 2 to 4 inches there. But let's talk about what that is going to do for the rivers. We're getting in new river forecasts, and actually the new information in for the Cape Fear River in Fayetteville has it cresting about 5 feet lower than this morning's forecast. Still, moderate flooding is in the forecast, should peak Saturday afternoon before gradually falling over the weekend. Significant overflow of the left bank, about 2 miles downstream of the NC-24 bridge, is one of the problem spots when you get to that over 50-foot crest. Let's talk about the the Sandhills River flooding. Some of the worst should be at the Lumber River in Lumberton. We've been telling you about that potential for a couple days now, and the Black River at Tomahawk, both expected to reach major flood stage. Lumber River Thursday at 8 o'clock and Friday at 2 o'clock for the Black River there. The impacts for the major flooding, about 50 dwellings inundated for the Lumber River at Lumberton. That's going to be a big concern for us. And NC 411 closed west of the bridge, likely for the Black River near Tomahawk. We're also going to be watching the Neuse River. We are not expecting major flooding there. Good news. However, there will still be some flooding. In Clayton, it's been downgraded to minor flooding, cresting Saturday at 2 a.m. now. Greenway flooding likely. And then for the Neuse River at Smithfield and Goldsboro, moderate flooding forecast. So we could see some issues maybe around Seymour Johnston Air Force Base there in Goldsboro, but those numbers luckily not in the major status. Tropical storm Debby has top winds of 60 miles per hour. Some strengthening took place yesterday at this time. Top winds were 40 miles per hour. Now that it is over the ocean, it is able to strengthen a little bit before it makes landfall again in South Carolina and then stays west of us during the day tomorrow. That puts us on the side of the storm where we could see spin up tornadoes, heavy rain, flash flooding. Those are our three biggest concerns. So tornado, heavy rain, flash flooding. Pretty much all day long, we're going to see that concern. Looking ahead to the weekend, some scattered storms still around, but those really are not going to be related to Debby.
All right. Thank you, Kat.
As the storm moves through, remember you can also submit pictures to us. Go to WRAL.com and type weather watchers into the search box. You can submit photos of the situation wherever you live, and we may share them on TV. Heidi Kirk has just arrived on the ground in Sampson County, showing us for the first time tornado damage there. Heidi.
Meantime, Governor Roy Cooper today cautioning people here in North Carolina to take this storm seriously. He said, as we have been saying, that flooding could be very severe in some areas.
Our forecasters predict tornadoes, heavy rains, flash floods, and possible storm surge that can quickly inundate low-lying areas.
WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie asked the governor what the state is doing differently this time to prepare.
North Carolina is no stranger to disastrous flooding like we saw in Hurricane Matthew and Hurricane Florence. We asked Governor Roy Cooper today what the state has learned and what it's doing differently this time to respond to those floodwaters. After Hurricane Florence swamped eastern North Carolina in 2018, the state expanded its system of river gauges that monitor water levels. That system, known as FIMAN, can now predict river flooding 48 hours ahead. Governor Roy Cooper says that gives swiftwater rescue teams and other responders a head start to get to where they'll be needed.
Having more knowledge about when these rivers will crest, seeing the damage that has been done in the past, getting these evacuation orders in place if they are needed. I think all of those have been lessons learned and hopefully will save lives and property in the future.
Cooper said the state also focused on improving resilience after past floods, like making sure rebuilt homes are elevated or, in some cases, not rebuilt at all.
We have had areas of our state that we've just simply decided not to rebuild in. And using those areas that created parks and other catch basins that can help absorb flood water.
Right now at 4:30, we continue to keep a close eye on Debby's path. We showed you the radar. Much of our area seeing a lot of rain from Debby.
Meteorologist Kat Campbell joining us. Here's the radar behind us now. Just before the commercial, you said you were getting some new data in, and that's helping us understand the timing a little better.
Absolutely. So we've got a new run of Futurecast in. This particular model does a great job with tropical systems. Meteorologist Mike Mays and I have been following it as each run comes in, and I think it's got a good grasp on some of these heavier rain bands. So the center of Debby off the coast of South Carolina right now. It's likely to make landfall later tonight into early tomorrow. Let's talk about these rain bands. So here's the band that I've been telling you about that's moving into Wake County for the evening commute. That's going to be with us through dinner time tonight. And then we're watching a pretty intense band of rain at the coast. That one may clip the southern part of our viewing area, but it's not going to reach the triangle by 10 o'clock tonight. It's as we get to the overnight hours that we really begin to see conditions deteriorate across our area. Pretty heavy rain falling for quite a few hours, so by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, there could already be some flooding issues out there. You'll want to check check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner before you leave the house. We are starting our coverage at 4 a.m. on WRAL due to the issues that we expect to see out there even early in the day. And these rain bands during the afternoon, these are going to be the ones with the highest threat of a tornado tomorrow afternoon and evening. Even in the morning, we'll have that threat, but as we get into tomorrow night, we begin to see some improvements, especially throughout the day on Friday. We'll have a closer look at that and your weekend coming up.
All right, thank you, Kat. Now let's take a live look at Wrightsville Beach. You see the waves here intensifying behind me. It is Wrightsville Beach under a tropical storm warning. This area, however, is no longer under a tornado or storm surge watch. That's the good news. WRAL's Aaron Thomas joining us there live on the beach. Aaron, tell us about conditions as we speak.
Yeah, so at this point, it's a lot of wind, which is pretty indicated here on my jacket, and we've dealt with some light rain on and off. This has actually been the case since we arrived here in town on Monday. You can see for yourself, there's still people that are taking advantage of this beach day. A lot of them are on vacation and they are anticipating conditions to get a bit worse tomorrow. So anytime the rain clears up, that's when a lot of these families and folks will come out here to enjoy the beach. You can see for yourself that these waters are definitely, they're rough. They're definitely churning up. And we've seen the surf get higher since we've been in town on Monday. Ocean rescue crews with Wrightsville Beach are warning people to stay out of the water, but we're still seeing people enter the water at their own risk. Now, we've spoken with both locals and visitors, and their concern is the flooding, especially in those low-lying areas. The Cape Fear chapter of American Red Cross is ready to provide care and relief for residents who need it, and I'm told that more than 100 volunteers are already on the ground here in North Carolina.
So a lot of what we've been doing is making sure that we've got cots and blankets pre-staged, heater meals, water, those types of things. So that way, if we do have to activate shelters, we're ready to do that.
And I want to take you over here. We also have some police from Wrightsville Beach. We've also seen crews with Wrightsville Beach Ocean Rescue. They're going to be patrolling this area both today and tomorrow as these waters, ocean waters, continue to get stronger. They want to encourage people to stay out of the water. Aaron Thomas, WRAL News, live in Wrightsville Beach.
Yeah, people need to be careful out there. That video is making me nervous, those kids playing in the wake. Southern Wake County bracing for another round of storms here. Don't forget, it was just days ago that an EF1 tornado touched down in Fuquay-Varina. This is some video from surveillance camera on one of the homes there. So we wanted to go back into the community and touch base with them as this storm approaches. WRAL's Destiny Patterson joining us now, spoke to some homeowners there who are still cleaning up some damage from the last round of storms.
Dan, you can see the evidence here. I mean, look at this tree. We're looking literally at the roots of two trees here in the backyard of someone's home. And they tell me that they're trying to clean this up as quickly as they can. But the main concern here, if you look even further down, is this creek and the possibility of flooding.
Tropical Storm Debby is knocking on our door. But many are still recovering from the EF1 tornado that barreled through this southern Wake County town 4 days ago. Vicky Stramel and her partner Jason Terame are deaf. I talked to them about the impending storm through the Notes app on my phone. Stramel tells me most of the trees in her yard are around 90 years old. My concern is the storm channel may be blocked from the debris, and then the flood can get worse from there, Stramel wrote. She shared these pictures of flooding in her yard from 2022. She hopes this won't be the case this time around.
First of all, tell our citizens to stay calm. In Fuquay-Varina, our staff is well prepared.
But with torrential rain on the way, Stramel wrote to me, we aren't sure what to do. This uprooted tree acts as a reminder of the cleanup that still needs to be done. But it's the creek that warns of what's still to come.
The mayor here in Fuquay-Varina also tells me that they're doing what they can to be proactive, including cleaning storm drains and looking out for hazardous trees. Now, for you, because of that threat of flooding, if you see any high water, don't drive through it and don't drive around any barricades. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, Wake County.
And we have breaking news here in the WRAL Live Center. In the last 2 minutes, we've learned that Wake County schools will be closed tomorrow. No makeup days will be needed, but they are getting ready for Tropical Storm Debby. As Kat has been mentioning, we're expecting the worst of the weather here in the Triangle during the day on Thursday, and Wake County schools taking heed.
All right, thanks so much, Brian. Our county by county coverage today, focusing on the impact that Debby is having where you live. In Lee County, the Lee Transit System, also known as COLTS, will not operate tomorrow. In Cumberland County, the Airborne and Special Operations Museum closed at noon today. It will not reopen tomorrow. And Wayne County will close all libraries and the Seegers Senior Center at 5 p.m. today and tomorrow. You can always find a complete list of closings on WRAL.com. We expect that list to grow. The live dual Doppler 5000 is at your fingertips on our WRAL News app, so please stay updated with us throughout the storm by making sure you sign up for alerts.